Hello and welcome to Rabbit Hole Research. This is Chevy Cool Lady. I am dropping down the rabbit hole, exploring interesting topics from history, as well as weird things in current events. If you're a first-time visitor, looking for a safe space to enjoy new ideas or rehash some old ones, then please consider subscribing. If you are a returning sub, welcome back. You're the coolest group ever. I am so thankful for you all. Please like and comment in the comment box. We are building this forum from the ground up, and your ideas are valid. Today's hot topic is called the President's Tombs. Some are what you would expect, and others are wild as heck. What in the world is really going on with the history of our national monuments? Please join me, grab a coffee and a snack. Here we go. In the shadows of American history, there lies a solemn trail of remembrance, where the legacies of the nation's leaders are etched in stone and marble. Eternal Legacies, the Tombs of U.S. Presidents, is a journey that delves into the final resting places of the commanders-in-chief. From the simple headstones that speak of modesty to the grand mausoleums that echo with the whispers of intrigue and beg the question, why? This video explores some ideas and speculations. I am not trying to convince, but rather present my internet findings to you. Please leave your comments and ideas. This is a safe place for truth seekers. Join us as we uncover stories of power and peculiarities that accompany the tombs of America's presidents. It's time to take a deeper look beyond the veil of office, into the silent halls of eternity. We have found some interesting and little-known facts about some of our American presidents. Here lie a few lesser-known facts about these tombs. George Washington, the first U.S. president, was an avid dog breeder and named his hunting hounds with unique names like Sweet Lips and Drunkard. Abraham Lincoln was inducted into the National Wrestling Hall of Fame as an outstanding American for his wrestling prowess. His tomb in Illinois was the target of grave robbers in 1876, but the attempt was foiled by the Secret Service. John Tyler, the 10th president, fathered 15 children, the most of any president. This personal detail adds a layer of humanity to the memory preserved at his gravesite. Thomas Jefferson and John Adams, both signers of the Declaration of Independence and Presidents, died on the same day, July 4th, 1826, which is also the date of America's Independence Day. James K. Polk secretly purchased enslaved children for his Mississippi cotton plantation during his term, a dark facet of history that contrasts with the solemnity of his tomb. These facts offer a glimpse into the personal lives and historical contexts surrounding the final resting places of the U.S. presidents, adding depth to our understanding of their legacies. We will take a look at the presidential tombs in chronological order as a quick overview. Then we will look at the bad boys that really stand out, perhaps as being a false narrative or at least questionable, because I believe some of these buildings were not built for this purpose, but may be relics from another civilization that resided in ancient America, repurposed to fit the history we were given in school. Let's take a peek, shall we? Here is a chronological list of U.S. presidential tombs and their locations. George Washington, Mount Vernon, Virginia. John Adams, United First Parish Church, Quincy, Massachusetts. Thomas Jefferson, Monticello, Charlottesville, Virginia. James Madison, Montpelier, Orange, Virginia. James Monroe, Hollywood Cemetery, Richmond, Virginia. John Quincy Adams, United First Parish Church, Quincy, Massachusetts. Andrew Jackson, The Hermitage, Nashville, Tennessee. Martin Van Buren, Kinderhook Reformed Church Cemetery, Kinderhook, New York. William Henry Harrison, William Henry Harrison Tomb State Memorial, North Bend, Ohio. John Tyler, Hollywood Cemetery, Richmond, Virginia. James K. Polk, Tennessee State Capitol, Nashville, Tennessee. Zachary Taylor, Zachary Taylor National Cemetery, Louisville, Kentucky. Millard Fillmore Forest Lawn Cemetery, Buffalo, New York. Franklin Pierce Old North Cemetery, Concord, New Hampshire. James Buchanan Woodward Hill Cemetery, Lancaster, Pennsylvania. Abraham Lincoln Lincoln Tomb, Oak Ridge Cemetery, Springfield, Illinois. Andrew Johnson National Cemetery, Greenville, Tennessee. Ulysses S. Grant General Grant National Memorial, New York, New York. Rutherford B. Hayes Spiegel Grove, Fremont, Ohio. James A. Garfield Lakeview Cemetery, Cleveland, Ohio. Chester Arthur Albany Rural Cemetery, Menons, New York. Grover Cleveland Princeton Cemetery, Princeton, New Jersey. Benjamin Harrison Crown Hill Cemetery, Indianapolis, Indiana 1. William McKinley The McKinley National Memorial, Canton, Ohio. Theodore Roosevelt Young's Memorial Cemetery, Oyster Bay, New York. William Howard Taft Arlington National Cemetery, Arlington, Virginia. Woodrow Wilson Washington National Cathedral, Washington, D.C. Warren G. Harding Memorial, Marion, Ohio. Calvin Coolidge Plymouth Notch Cemetery, Plymouth, Vermont. Herbert Hoover Presidential Library and Museum, West Branch, Iowa. Franklin D. Roosevelt Springwood Estate, Hyde Park, New York. Harry S. Truman Library and Museum, Independence, Missouri. Dwight D. Eisenhower Presidential Library and Museum, Abilene, Kansas 1. John F. Kennedy Arlington National Cemetery, Arlington, Virginia. Lyndon B. Johnson Family Cemetery, Lyndon B. Johnson National Historical Park, Gillespie County, Texas. Richard Nixon Presidential Library and Museum, Yorba Linda, California. Gerald R. Ford Museum, Grand Rapids, Michigan. Ronald Reagan Presidential Library, Simi Valley, California. George H.W. Bush Presidential Library, College Station, Texas. As we continue, let's delve into some crazy stories that I unearthed about the graves, pun intended. In 1830, John Augustine Washington, then proprietor of Mount Vernon, fired one of the estate's gardeners, whose name is now unknown. Out of revenge, the unemployed gardener broke into the crypt with the intent of stealing George Washington's skull. However, the gardener inadvertently absconded with the skull of one of the Blackburns, who were in-laws of George Washington's nephew, Judge Bushrod Washington. The extremely dilapidated state of the tomb reportedly contributed to the gardener's confusion. Some 20 members of the Washington family and their relatives had been placed in the crypt, but many of their coffins had since rotted through, meaning human skeletons lay littered on the ground. The bodies of George and Martha Washington, however, had been encased in lead before their committal, so were spared this indignity. Here is another odd fact concerning the first presidential resting place. Apart from the attempted theft of George Washington's skull, the most notable incident of attempted presidential tomb theft involved Abraham Lincoln. In 1876, a group of counterfeiters tried to steal Lincoln's body from his tomb in Springfield, Illinois. Their plan was to hold the remains for ransom in exchange for the release of their imprisoned counterfeiter colleague and a sum of $200,000. However, the plot was foiled by the Secret Service and local law enforcement. There are no widely reported incidents involving other presidents' tombs and theft. The security and sanctity of these sites have generally been well maintained, preventing such occurrences. Among the presidents' tombs, I came across 8 obelisks. I have included them in the section where we are taking a deeper look at what I consider oddities. Let's start with the definition of obelisk, which is a tall, four-sided, narrow tapering monument which ends in a pyramid-like shape or pyramidion at the top. Basically a phallic symbol. The obelisk symbolized the sun god Ra. So, like the ancient Egyptians, they were placed on our leaders' graves? Does this sound right to you? They are also said to be used in a bygone era where electricity was free. So, were they actually remnants that were left here and repurposed? I found a short story to explain this theory. By James W. Lee. Once upon a time, there was a highly advanced civilization today known as Great Tartaria. She was disappeared from our history books less than a century ago. However, its vestiges are still everywhere. This civilization dominated technologies more advanced than the present ones. Its geopolymer concrete was eternal and grew stronger over time. Its gigantic iron and glass structures, surmounted by domes and metal needles, were present on every continent. Associated with Mercury, they distributed free atmospheric energy to everyone. Its towers and railway stations are still in operation. Unfortunately, the technology of free energy from the ether was destroyed and imprisoned, and old technology reintroduced, like cables and wires to distribute energy and make handsome profits. You could travel by boat, car, or plane for free by simply accessing nature's magnetically energy that is omnipresent, and we have not been allowed this free energy to all due to our capitalist capitalizing system of greed and domination by those in power, even to this day. So, for over 100 years, we have been denied a benevolent system of free energy to all. Let's take a look at some of the grand and glorious tombs. James Monroe's tomb is a real beauty. What we think of as Victorian, but why is it so ornate and almost reminds me of a huge bird cage? It is really remarkable. President James Monroe's tomb, located in Hollywood Cemetery in Richmond, Virginia, is known for its distinctive and architecturally unusual cast iron cage, designed by Albert Liebrock. Installed in 1859, the tomb's cage is a remarkable example of Gothic revival style and represents an innovative use of cast iron for its time. The intricate design, which includes lancet-arched shapes and a central spire, could not have been achieved with stone, showcasing the material's versatility. The tomb, often referred to as the birdcage due to its ornate structure, was declared a National Historic Landmark in 1971. Monroe's body was originally interred in New York City, but was moved to Virginia in 1858, and the tomb was erected the following year. In 2015, the tomb underwent a $900,000 restoration, which included returning it to its original ivory color. The tomb's location in Hollywood Cemetery is also significant, as it overlooks the James River and lies near the grave of another president, John Tyler. The choice of cast iron and the tomb's elaborate design reflect the period's fascination with ornamental ironwork and the desire to memorialize the fifth president of the United States in a grand manner. This period was marked by a vibrant and diverse economy that was about to enter a tumultuous phase with the onset of the Civil War in 1861, which would have profound effects on the nation's economic landscape. The last grave we will look at in this video is Andrew Jackson. This is quite spectacular for 1845. His tomb resides at the Hermitage, an historic landmark. The Hermitage is built in a secluded meadow that was chosen as a house site by Rachel Jackson, wife of Andrew Jackson. From 1804 to 1821, Jackson and his wife lived in a log cabin. Together, the complex formed the first Hermitage, with the structures known as the West, East, and Southeast cabins. Enslaved men, women, and children, numbering 9 at the plantation's purchase in 1804 and 110 at Jackson's death, worked at the Hermitage and were principally involved in growing cotton, its major cash crop. Such a horrible mark on American history. Here's a little story I came up with about the Hermitage and Jackson's tomb, including rumors. Enjoy! In the shadow of the Hermitage, where whispers of the past cling to ancient trees, there was a place where legends intertwined. a place both solemn and serene. Here, the tale of Cornelius, the hermit baker of Derbyshire, merged with the sorrowful story of the Pennsylvania hermit, whose heartache led him to a life of solitude. Their spirits roamed the woods, seeking solace in the embrace of nature, away from the world's relentless march. Not far from this hallowed ground stood the tomb of General Andrew Jackson, a monument of limestone and copper, nestled in the garden he cherished too. It was said that Jackson's spirit still wandered the grounds of his beloved hermitage, his presence as commanding in death as it had been in life. The garden, once vibrant with Rachel's touch, now held a silence broken only by the rustling leaves and the distant echo of history. One moonlit night, as the stars bore witness, the hermit's ethereal forms gathered near Jackson's tomb. They spoke of lives lived in the margins, of the peace found in seclusion, and of the world they left behind. The air hummed with the power of their tales, and for a moment, time stood still. The hermits, bound by their shared quest for solitude, found a kinship with the general, whose final rest was marked by the very land he had shaped with his own hands. And as dawn approached, painting the sky with hues of promise, the legends of the hermitage and Jackson's tomb faded once more into the mist, leaving behind a story etched in the annals of time and memory. Thanks for watching. Tell me what you think. I appreciate your time. See you next video.